Okay, Pradeep ji, we are ready.
Okay. Hi, good morning to everyone. Welcome to today's special meeting of the Young Indian Theosophists online. Today we are celebrating White Lotus Day, and let us sit in meditation for a minute and then start our meeting. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom, O hidden light, shining in every creature, O hidden love, embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is therefore one with every other. Welcome back. So, as I said in the beginning, today is a special meeting and we are celebrating White Lotus Day. Theosophists across the globe celebrate May 8th today as the White Lotus Day. Today is the death anniversary or the anniversary of passing of Madam H.P. Blavatsky. And why do we celebrate this day as White Lotus Day? A small introduction to this thing. Madam H.P. Blavatsky, she passed away on 8th May of 1891. And in her will, she had mentioned that her followers or the members of the Theosophical Society may assemble on 8th May every year. And in her memory, they may do the reading of selected passages of Bhagavad Gita and the Light of Asia. And after some time, the reading of Voice of Silence, which was the last published book of Madam H.P. Blavatsky, was also included. However, after exactly 1 year after her passing, on 8th May of 1891, after 1 year, Colonel H.S. Olcott, he observed that there were unusual growth of white lotus in the Adyar campus. And hence, he named this day as White Lotus Day. And as we all know, lotus is being described in the secret doctrine as a simile or something that represents the human life. Every lotus whose roots are deep in the mud under the water, and then the stalk grows through the water and the flower rises above the water and blooms in the air into the sky. Madam Blavatsky describes this as something that represents the life of human. While the mud under the water is this physical world, while our roots, while the human is still attached to this physical world, the stalk can rise through the water. That is, we can raise our consciousness through the astral bodies, and then we can bloom, or we can raise our consciousness, we can mature our consciousness into the air that is above the water, which is called the spiritual life. So hence every human, while still in this physical world, still attached to this physical world, can raise his consciousness through the astral bodies and then mature his consciousness into the spiritual world. This is what the lotus represents, which is described in the secret doctrine. And when Colonel H.S. Olcott saw profuse growth of white lotus in the Adyar campus, exactly 1 year after passing of Madam Blavatsky, he named this day as White Lotus Day. Today we all assemble in the memory of Madam Blavatsky and then do the readings of Bhagavad Gita, the Light of Asia, and the Voice of Silence. Throughout the world, all theosophists celebrate this White Lotus Day. So with this introduction, today we have three speakers. Ms. Varsha Patel, Miss Kritika Goel, and Miss Pooja Gole. Miss Varsha Patel is from Ahmedabad, from Gujarat, and she's an assistant professor in economics. And she's the president of Rohit Lodge, Gujarat. And she's doing many social activities through Buddha Theosophical Order of Service in Gujarat. And today she will be doing the reading from the selected verses from 7 portals. So over to Varsha ji.
Thank you, Pradeep sir, Shikhar sir, and all participants. A very happy White Lotus Day to all of you. Today, the Voice of Silence book, I read some passages. Yeah. Lord, I see the path, its foot in mire, its summit lots in glorious light, nirvanic. And now I see the every narrowing portal on the hard, thorny road to thou sitst well, Lanu. This portal lead the aspirant across the waters on to the other shore. Each portal hath a golden key that open its gate, and these keys are Dana, the key of charity and love immortal. The second key, Sheila, the key of harmony in word and act. The key that counterbalances the causes and the effect and leaves no further room for karmic action. Seventh key, Prajna, the key to which makes of a man a god, creating him a bodhisattva, son of the Dhyanis. Such to the portals are the golden keys. We have now come to the late of these qualities. Prajna, which means once more wisdom, more in the sense of a faculty of consciousness, then of knowledge, that is wisdom, because it penetrates to the life behind the form. Jnana, also translated wisdom, is not a faculty, but prajna is itself. It said that this quality makes the bodhisattva. This latter term is used here in a wide sense. Technically, a bodhisattva is one who is destined to become a Buddha, who has given to a living Buddha the pledge that in a future life he will make up that office. Now in second chapter, during our life, the ego in the causal body has entrusted some of his own energy, as it were, to the search for useful experience, to which his personality was adapted. And in so far as the personality failed in its mission, that energy, those rays of their higher manas have been lost, remaining but as a center for the shell or even for the production of a dweller on the threshold, if they are strong enough to last over to the next incarnation. In current theosophical terms, after death, the man remains in the astral plane for a period longer or shorter, according to the quality and virility of his selfish desire. Dorje is the Sanskrit word, Vajra, a weapon or instrument in the hands of some gods, and is regarded as having the same occult power of repelling evil influences by purifying the air as ozone in chemistry. It is also a mudra, a gesture and posture used in sitting for meditation. It is, in short, a symbol of power over invisible evil influence. Whether as a posture or a talisman, the bones and dugpas, however, having appropriated the symbol, misuse it for purpose of black magic. With the yellow caps or golukpas, it is a symbol of power, as the cross is with the Christians, while it is in no way more superstitious. With the bones, it is like the double triangle reverse, the sign of sorcery. O fearless aspirant, look deep within the well of thine own heart and answer, knowest thou of self the powers? O thou perceiver of external shadows, purity is a great thing, but it is not enough. The little baby is pure because it knows nothing of good or evil. Knowledge also is needed in order that we may act, and also the will to put that knowledge in action. The animals are purer than man, the vegetables purer still. They have not the imagination of man that causes him to seek material pleasure in the defiance regard of natural laws. Yet it is necessary that man should go through this experience with matter in order that he may have knowledge and may then return to that divine from which he descended. Regaining his purity, we come out from the Logos, a divine cloud, but return to him a divine being, which definite powers. And at the end, my last paragraph, Avicii is a state, not a locality. Although some people suffer after death in the astral plane, it cannot quite be regarded as punishment. They are suffering from their own disordered imaginations or low desires. And although things may sometimes he had on that plane, the words of it is not so mean and so rigid as some of the things which happen down here. All who have had experience on higher planes will agree with Madame Blavatsky that there is nothing quite so bad as physical life anywhere else. A pilgrim hath returned back from the other shore evidently means that someone had gained the highest level but still chooses to remain and work among choosers. In their words, generally we think of the other shore as the fifth initiation, not as the fourth, but here it is used in the more restricted sense. Arya Asang closes with the salutations, and and end my last sentence, peace to all beings. Thank you.
Thank you, Varsha ji, for your reading from the Voice of Silence. And next, let me introduce Ms. Kritika Goyal, who is well known to you all. No need to introduce, but however, Kritika Goyal is an engineering graduate from Ghaziabad. She is a young member of Prayas Theosophical Lodge. She joined Theosophical Society in 2017, and she has participated and actively involved in youth camps in Bawali. Today, Kritika will be reading chapter 6, selected parts from the book Light of Asia. Over to Kritika ji.
Thank you so much, Brother Pradeep. So today I'll be reading parts from chapter 6. So as we all know that this book is a poetic version. So I came across this book by Rishikesh Sharan, brother. So I thought, why not read this in a story way, because we as youngsters feel more connected towards this storyline. So I'll be reading 2 parts. So let's start. By the side of the river lived a pious and rich landowner, master of a large number of animals, a good person, friend of all the poor. It was from his name that the village derived its name, Senani. He lived peacefully and pleasantly with his wife Sujata, who was the loveliest of all the dark-eyed daughters of the plain. She was gentle, true, simple, kind, and noble. She spoke graciously to all and behaved in a pleasant way. She was a pearl of womanhood, passing calm years in her household happily with her husband in her village, except that they had not been blessed with a child through their marriage. She made many prayers before the goddess Lakshmi and also passed a number of full nights in prayer around Shiva's lingam. She made 81 offerings of rice, jasmine flowers, and sandal oil, praying for a boy, and also vowed that if they were blessed with a son, then she would make offering to the wood god in a bowl of gold under his tree of food that would be so delicious that the gods would also be pleased to gladly take it. And this desire was fulfilled. A beautiful boy was born to her, now 3 months old, who lied between Sujata's breasts while she moved with grateful steps towards the wood god's shrine. With one arm, she had clasped her crimson sari close to wrap the baby, that jewel of her joys, and the other lifted up to hold the bowl and the dish, steady on her head, which had delicious food for the god. But Radha, the maidservant who had been sent beforehand to sweep the ground and tie the red threads around the tree, came eagerly crying, "Ah, my dear mistress, look, the wood god is sitting in his place with hands folded upon his knees. See how the light is shining around about his face. How soft and great he seems with heavenly eyes. It is good fortune to meet the gods thus." So, thinking him as a divine being, Sujata drew near him trembling and kissed the earth and said, with her beautiful face bent, "Would that Holy One inhabiting this forest, giver of food, merciful to me, his female servant, confirming his presence here, kindly accept these poor gifts of snowy kheer, fresh made with milk as white as new carved ivory." Saying this, she poured in the bowl the kheer and milk, and on the hands of Buddha dropped attar from a crystal flask, distilled out of roses. And he ate, speaking not a word, while the happy mother stood in reverence. But the virtue of that meal was so wondrous that Mahakarunik Buddha felt strength, and life returned to him as though the nights of watching and the days of fast had passed away in dream. As though the spirit also shared that fine food with the flesh, as if a bird had made its wings tidy and anew with its beak, Or as if a bird became delighted to find a stream suddenly after its flight over the endless span of sand and washes its neck and body in that stream to feel fresh. And while Sujata worshipped him, she found the face of Gautam glow fairer and brighter and asked lowly, "Are you indeed the god? And has my gift been accepted?" But Buddha asked, "What is it that you have brought for me?" Holy One answered Sujata, "From our flock of animals, I took the milk of 100 mother cows, newly calved, and with that milk, I fed 50 white cows, and with their milk, 25, and then with their milk, 12 more cows, and then their milk was fed to the best 6 of our animals. I boiled that milk, taken from those 6 cows with sandal and fine spice in silver lotas, adding rice, well grown from chosen seed, sown in virgin land, and I thus picked up each grain like a pearl. I did it out of my true heart because I had vowed under your tree that if I shall bear a boy, I shall make this offering out of my joy. And I know I now have a son, and my life is full of bliss and happiness." Softly, Buddha drew down the purple colored cloth and put those blessed hands, which held the world, on that little head and said, "Long be your bliss." And let the load of life fall on him lightly. You have helped me, who is not God but one of your brothers. I was hitherto a prince, but now a wanderer who has been seeking night and day all these 6 years that light which shines somewhere which may remove the darkness of all men. If they come to know about it, and I shall find that light. Yes, now it appears that it will dawn on me, glorious and helpful. When my weak body failed, your pure food, fair sister, has restored its strength, drawn manifold through lives to quicken life, just as life itself passes by many births to happier heights through cleansing of the sins. Yet, do you truly find it satisfying enough only to live? Are life and love sufficient to satisfy you? Answered Sujata worshipful. My heart is little, and little rain will fill the lily's cup, which otherwise hardly moists the field. It is enough for me to feel that my life's sun shines in my Lord's happiness, and my baby's smile, which makes our home a loving place. My time passes pleasantly attending to household duties. When I wake up at the sunrise, I offer prayers to gods and give some grain in charity and then trim the tulsi plant. Thereafter, I distribute the tasks to my female servants and supervise the work till noon when my husband, after his meals, lays his head upon my lap and rests while I sing soft songs and wave the fan for him. And similarly, at the supper time in the evening, I serve him food while I stand by his side. After the night falls, I visit the temple, talk to my friends, and when the stars start twinkling, asking us to go to sleep, I go to bed. How should I not be happy, blessed with so much, and also having given birth to this boy whose small hand shall help my husband's soul to go to Swarga? The holy books teach us that when a man will plant trees to provide shade to travelers, dig a well for the comfort of his fellow beings, and shall beget a son, it will be good for him for life after death. I humbly accept what is written in the holy books because I cannot be wiser than our great ancestors who could converse with gods, knew how to please them by prayer, and also knew the magical powers. How could one thus not live a virtuous and peaceful life? Also, I think that good must surely come to good and ill of ill to all in every place and also at all times, seeing that sweet fruit grows from wholesome seeds and bitter things from poisonous seeds. And also seeing how ill will breed hate and kindness produces friends and patience leads to peace while we live. And when it is destined we will die, why shall there not be as good a then as it is now? Maybe by chance, the then may be probably better than the now. 1 grain of rice gives rise to 50 pearls of rice. 1 The white and the gold champak flower remains hidden in that little naked gray spring buds. Yes, sir. I know that there may be sorrows which I may have to tolerate, and one may lose patience if one is in trouble. For example, if my baby passes away first, then I think my heart will break. Almost I hope my heart will break. I might embrace him dead and pass away with him and wait for my husband in whatsoever world the faithful wives are made to wait dutifully till my husband would also die and come there. But if death called away Senani first, then I would mount the funeral pyre and sit on it with his dear head in my lap as I do daily. I would be rejoicing when I would also be consumed by the flame and the choking smoke, for it is written in the scriptures that if a wife dies in this way, then her love will give her husband's soul for every hair upon her head a crore of years in Swarga. Therefore, I am not afraid and my life is happy. But while I live thus fortunately, I do not forget those who are poorer, more needy, painful, and miserable than me. Let the gods have pity on them. But for me, I humbly do only what good I see, and I live obeying the law with full trust that what will come must come and shall come well. Then spoke Siddhartha to Sujata, you teach them who teach others that which is more profound than wisdom in your own simple language. You should be happy and satisfied that you are ignorant and that knowing the way of righteousness and duties, you should continue to grow like a flower in the sweet, peaceful shade. Truth is high noon, is not for delicate leaves which must wait to spread in other lights in future and lift its crowned head to the sky in later lives. You who has worshipped me, I worship you. Excellent heart. You have learned the wisdom unknowingly, just like a bird which goes on flying to distant places, flies back home, pulled by love to its family. If you can see the hope for man where we hold the wheel of life at our will, may your life be peaceful and all your future years be comfortable. As you have accomplished, may I also achieve. He whom you thought to be God is keen that you wish him this. May you achieve, she said, with earnest eyes bent on her baby, who moved his tender hands to show reverence to Buddha, knowing, as the children very well know, more than we think. With this, I move on to the second segment, which is Bodhi tree. I'll try to read fast. Siddhartha rose from his seat, becoming strong with that pure food, and moved a few footsteps where a great tree, known as the Bodhi tree, from then onward, never to fade in all times to come and preserved in homage of the world, grew up. It had been prophesied that truth would come to Buddha beneath this tree. Buddha knew this, and therefore he went under the tree of wisdom with measured move in a steadfast, majestic manner. Oh, you worlds, rejoice. Our teacher has made his way into the tree. When he passed into the spacious shade of the tree covered with dropping stems, which had the arched ceiling of sparkling green color, the earth, being aware as to what was going on in the surroundings there, worshipped him with waving grass and sudden blooming of flowers near his feet. The branches of the tree bowed down to provide him shade. From the river blew lotus-scented cool wind, breathed usually by water gods. From the caves, forests and shrubs, creatures like leopard, boar, and deer made peace that evening and gazed with large wondering eyes on his gracious and kindly face. And so many activities like this were happening. Even the creeping creatures had also become aware and were happy. Voices of earth and the air joined in one song, which then heard by the ear said, Lord and friend, lover and savior, you who have subdued anger and pride, desires, fears, and doubts, who has given away himself for one and all, please move to the tree. Move now, O honored one, make this last effort for us. O King and High Conqueror, your hour has come. This is the night for which the earth has been waiting for ages. When our teacher sat below the Bodhi tree, the night fell. Mara, the prince of darkness, knowing that this was Buddha who will deliver the truth, who would find the truth and save the world, gave orders to all his evil powers to act. Thereupon, the devils, driven by most intense wickedness, who constantly fight with wisdom, came out from every deep pit. Arti, Trishna, desire, Raga, anger, and their gang of passion, horror, ignorance, and passionate desire, the offspring of gloom and dread, all hating Buddha and desperately trying to shake his mind. No one knows, not even the wisest, how these demon armies of hell battled that night to keep the truth away from Buddha. In order to divert the attention of our teacher, they often showed some cunning tricks and occasionally spoke fair-sounding, alluring words. Made the leaves still, the wind silent, and less severe. They sang erotic songs, whispers of love, sometimes made fascinating offer of giving him his royal kingdom to rule the earth. Sometimes they tried to raise doubts, trying to show that nothing would be achieved by his pursuing the truth, and that the truth was empty and useless. Thereafter, the 10 chief sins, Mara's mighty ones, the angel of evil came. First came Attavada, the sin of the self, who in the universe sees her own found face everywhere as in the mirror crying, I, and that the world should be ruled by this I only. All things would have perished in the universe if she were allowed to have an upper hand. But Buddha passed this test also. Loving oneself is a deception of fraud, he said to the 10 chief sins. Then came the representative of dark force, the doubt, the sin that ridicules and diverts attention by pretending something other than the truth be true. This whispered in the teacher's ears with a sense of disapproval. All things are mere shows. It is useless to have that knowledge. It is nothing more than your vanity. You are only chasing your own shadow. Rise and go away. There is no hope of any help for man, nor any chance of stopping this rotating wheel. But said Buddha, you have nothing to do with me. False Vichikicha, you are the most cunning of man's all enemies. And the third to come in line was the one, she who gives the darker forces their power, Sillabat, Paramasa, who uses magical powers to perform magic by using the power of evil spirits found in different places as superstition. But Buddha to her also answered, what you are advising me to keep is the form which will pass away, but the truth will stand eternally. Get back into your darkness. And so the line continued, and so many evil spirits came and came and came. But to shake Buddha, to stop Buddha was impossible for them, because they only knew how they were trying and failing again and again. Thereafter, with the darkening skies and the noise of the rising storm, came very aggressive and angry sins, the last of the 10, Patiga, hate. She had serpents coiled around her waist, which sucked poisonous milk from both her hanging nipples. She was murmuring curses, and her murmur was mixed with the angry hiss of the serpents. But she could hardly bring any influence of the Holy One, who with his calm eyes silenced her bitter lips and made her black snakes wreath to hide her fangs. After her followed another sin, Ruparaga. Then came the haughty Mano, the evil spirit of pride and smooth self-righteousness. Udhacha, with many unpleasant group of vile and formless things which crawled and flapped like toad and bat. This was followed by ignorance, the mother of fear and wrong. Avidya, horribly ugly old witch whose footsteps made the midnight darker while the rooted mountains shook and the wild winds howled. The broken clouds shed streams of lightning lighted rain. Stars shot from the heaven, and the earth shivered from fear as if one laid flame on her wide open wounds. The black air was full of whistling loud, sharp cries of pain, and fear of the peering evil faces. The terrible and majestic lords of hell led the troops from thousand abodes of the dead souls to tempt the teacher, but all failed. Thank you so much, and sorry for taking so much time.
No, you don't have to be sorry. It's fine. And thank you so much, Kritika ji, for your wonderful reading from Light of Asia. Light of Asia is always nice to read, both in the poetic as well as in the prose form. And now may I introduce the next speaker, Miss Pooja Gole. Miss Pooja, she's a postgraduate in human development. She's currently an English educator in Vedanta Innovations Private Limited. She is into Theosophical Society since her childhood. Miss Pooja will be reading chapter 12 from Bhagavad Gita. Over to Miss Pooja.
Thank you, Brother Pradeep. Hello. Thank you, Brother Pradeep. I'm thankful to Indian section, Mahapatra sir, Shikhar sir, Suvarlina ji, and Sister Varsha ji for giving me a chance to recite the Bhagavad Gita and be a part of the White Lotus Day program. Now I will read the 12th Adhyay. Om Paramatme Namaha Atha Dvadoshadhyayah Evam Satadayuktaye Bhaktastvam Paryupasate ये चाप्यक्षरम् अव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः श्रीभगवान् उवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेतास्ते मे युक्ततमा मताः ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्य मव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम् सन्नियमेन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषां व्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिर्वाप्यते ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थं मय्या वेचितचेतसां मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवशिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन तत मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञान अभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागस्त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर् यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मन्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न रुष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु समसंगविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियः ॐ तत्सदिति Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Bhakti Yoga Nama Dvadashodhyayaha. Now, I would like to tell the gist of 12th Adhyay of Gita. This chapter begins with Arjuna asking Shri Krishna about the two types of yogis, and among them, who does he consider perfect? Those who worship the formless Brahma, or those who are devoted to the personal form of God, that is himself. Shri Krishna declares that devotees can attain him by both paths. However, he considers those who worship his personal form as the best yogis. In these 20 verses, Krishna emphasizes that the path of devotion is the highest among all the types of spiritual practices. He then explains to Arjuna that it is rather difficult to meditate upon the non-understandable aspect of God. Hence, the path of worshipping the formless is full of tribulations for the embodied souls. On the other hand, the devotees who worship his personal form and dedicate all their actions to him, and with their mind and intellect consciously surrendered, they attain him. Such souls swiftly get liberated from the cycle of life and death. Therefore, Sri Krishna asks Arjuna to give up all the doubts and surrender his intellect with his mind fixed in loving devotion to God alone. Sri Krishna says that such love for God does not come naturally to the struggling souls. Devotion is not some mysterious gift that one can get it. It requires consistent effort to cultivate it. Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that if he is unable to absorb his mind in God completely, then he should strive to do all his work with devotion to God. And with consistent practice, he will reach perfection. If Arjuna cannot even do this, then he should work for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. And if he feels even this is difficult, then he should simply renounce the fruits of all his work and be situated in the self. Sri Krishna further explains that the cultivation of knowledge is higher than the mechanical practice, and meditation is higher than knowledge. However, better than meditation is the renunciation of the fruits of action, because it immediately leads to great peace. The rest of the chapter describes all the wonderful qualities of God's loving devotees who are very dear to him. And because of this devotion, we chant this 12th Adhyay, because we appreciate the devotion of Madam H.P. Blavatsky towards her work given by the masters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pooja ji. That was very quick and fast. So, if there is any questions or anything, comments, or we can take the discussion, whoever want to say something else on this White Lotus Day. So I open the forum for discussion now. Taralji is here.
Why not start from Shikhar sir?
Okay, actually, I was going to propose that why not we have a couple of moments of silent meditation and finish it off with that, because all these three inspiring texts that we have just heard, and we have finished well before time, so there is some space, empty space in us, in which some wisdom can be filled up. So otherwise, I mean, everybody is, that was my feeling. And also I have to leave little early due to ES meeting here. But just two words that I would like to say about HPB, that if we have to sum up our life in two qualities, I would feel it will be pure-heartedness and courage. With that, you can do anything. And that's what she has shown us. So thank you. Thank you, Pradeep ji. Thank you, Varsha ji. Thank you, Pooja ji. Thank you, Kritika ji. Thank you, Pradeep ji, for your valuable contribution today.
Thank you so much. So I think you can close the recording.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and also live stream.
Anyone else would like to say something? Or Taralji, are you here? No meeting is complete without a few words from Taralji in the end.